Let me see what it feels like when the scapula is going up. Yeah, it feels a lot better. I won't be surprised if I'll also benefit from making it go down further into the chest to influence down here. I'm going to try not to go too far with the painting. Sometimes I get lost with the painting and I start trying to paint things that really will be the responsibility of corrective deformation, right? All this is definitely something that you would do with corrective deformation. But if you have the time, definitely try your best to see what the best you can get with weight painting is. If you find yourself just going back and forth and fighting with vertices and assigning it here and assigning it there, then it's time to accept the fact that the weight painting has done the best that it can do, and it's time to count on corrective deformation to do the rest of the work. Let me see the shoulder again. It won't hurt to also have a little bit of a scapula influence here. So just a little bit, so that when it goes up, it rotates that top area. Sorry, it rotates this bottom area just a little bit. There is a very sound plan for how to deal with all these muscles in the scapula at the corrected deformation stage. I'm going to do some bunching of skin here, pushing out of the muscles that the latissimus wraps around, and there's going to be some stuff that is really going to help it look believable, and also movement here generally when the scapula rotates up. Yeah, I have to go find what in all has influence here. So I'm going to set this to 0.01. Okay. Looks like the scapula is there a little bit too far in here, and that might be causing problems. Yeah, so let me get it away from there. And now it should be between the shoulder, part 1, and shoulder, and the main shoulder. And if all else fails, I'll just select all these vertices that are being a problem and just flood them with the shoulder. Flood them with a full value of 1. Yeah, and that should take away whatever problem I have over there. So for this bulge here, it does really look like it also has to be one of those things where I give more of it to the scapula just to get it to behave more naturally, because I've created a natural pose with the scapula up, the arm up to its maximum, and this is still bulging out, and assigning it weight from the chest and going back and forth, smoothing it between the chest and the upper arm doesn't help that much. So this is a good time to just block in with the scapula, and as you can see, it pushes it in. So a lot of tricks like this is how you would fix these things that look unnatural. And I suppose in reality you would have to make the scapula participate heavily over there. Let me go a little lower and see if I can get, no, beyond there. It's not the best idea. Yeah, and my apologies for picking a really tough part to address. I suppose it's good we get to do a difficult one early. We only have one more like that to look forward to down at the pelvis. All right, so I think that's it. So definitely want the scapula to pull at this under part of the arm, and that's how end up with a more natural result as the shoulder rotates. So that's using skinning to solve like a huge part of the problem. And then the scapula is responsible for that. I do want to go up there. The scapula would also never come down this low. Actually, it wouldn't come down at all. Let me go to my advanced skeleton tab. Go to build pose. Yeah, the scapula is never ever doing this. That's not a natural thing. And it won't even never do this or this. But you can expect to need to do some fixes during animation. So things like this are to be expected. But if you are trying to get an anatomically correct uh, body mechanics shot, you don't want to do this. Your body cannot do that. The only thing it can do is this rotates up. The trapezius tucks into both of them as it goes up. So those two bones wrap around the traps. And this is probably a good time to set a key to do this. Or not. Let me just rotate it up like this. And I think this would be best to delegate to the chest. So this area here, I don't want the clavicle altering this, and I don't want the neck altering this area too. So I think this is all chest. So let me find the chest. Let me reduce that. Find the chest, yeah, and then designate most of these points to the chest. I was gonna say I think this part is a little bit more difficult than the pelvis, but I'm going to reserve that opinion for when we get there, so you can see how tough the that area is. The pelvis is just something else. Probably should start thinking about how the neck needs to be getting its share of influence here. So I'm gonna give it its share and smooth. Okay, so I think this is a good starting point. There's definitely going to be some corrective work done here. I have a video that I showcase how I do the corrective deformation of the clavicle, because what we have right now, naturally, it's looking like it's breaking the clavicle at the pit of the neck. So this is a place where corrective deformation is going to be of the utmost importance. But if I really wanted to keep painting, I would uh, try to blend this better between the scapula and the chest. So I'll do a little bit of that. Just to see how well things are going, I'm going to run a walk cycle on this just to look at that area and see how that area is performing. So I'll get the walk designer and start. Okay, so yeah, as far as the under part of the arm, it does look fairly right. Yeah, that looks good. So when it's time to mirror over, the fix will go to the other side. So it's now time to either do the neck and then go from the ears and come down to meet the neck, and then start doing this torso, and then I'll go all the way to the legs, and we'll work all the way up the legs, which is very easy. Until we get to the knee, we have to do some stuff in preparation for the corrective morphs on the knee. And then we'll finish at the toughest part, which I believe is the toughest part here, the pelvis. So that's the plan.